All right, happy Thursday night, everybody. Welcome on into the daily broadcast. Coming to you from the Hat Creek Interior Studios tonight here in West Texas. You don't have to own a ranch to live like it. All you need is Hat Creek Interiors for the greatest Western style furniture and accessories. Check out the showroom studio and everything they got going on at 10101 Southside Road in Lubbock. Hatcreek.us. They ship to you pretty much in the known universe. They're the best out there. All right, what do we got tonight? Softball underway for the Red Raiders. Tough start for Texas Tech. They only plated 5 runs in the first inning, and we're a half hour into the season, and the other team hasn't batted yet. Nigel Kennedy on the bump. Texas Tech with a Tony 3-run blast, doing a lot of the damage. They're up 5-0. We're going to ask you tonight: is it fair to expect Texas Tech softball to win a national championship this year? Preseason number one, number two, depending on which poll you're looking at. Not in the Big 12, nationally. Everything that's been invested, you guys know the story. Is that an unfair expectation? Is it national championship or bust for the Red Raiders in softball? We have that. We have Texas Tech football losing a couple of coaches, and you know what? It's okay. You need to have coaches that don't want to be assistant coaches forever and want to move up, and you need to have coaches that other people want. Texas Tech does. That's okay. Super Bowl hype tonight. Build the perfect Super Bowl halftime show. I think I've got it. You give me yours. You basically got 18 to 20 minutes to work with. Nobody that I know really gives a damn about Bad Bunny and is excited about it, but I'm sure in the international markets, which is all the NFL cares about on this thing, apparently they don't care how many people don't want Bad Bunny there. All they care about is, oh, internationally, we're gonna have people. But you build the perfect Super Bowl halftime show. I've got mine. And then is Houston too poor? Kelvin Sampson says Houston is poor. Head basketball coach, Houston poor. All that and anything else that's on your mind, from Texas Tech baseball to just whatever's going on out there. You jump in tonight on the United Supermarkets chat line, whether you're on our YouTube channel, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland, free every day. Sign up. We're this close to 700 subscribers. We want that. We want 1,000 subscribers here very soon. You guys can make it happen. Like, subscribe, and invite some people in. On our Facebook page for Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland, same deal. Like that, subscribe, don't cost nothing. And everybody on our Twitter X feed at Ryan Hyatt Media. You know the drill as well. Let's do it in 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans. All you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, TheRaiderland.com. You start your day every day. Got those Raiderland hot links, questions of the day, our thoughts in the morning waiting for you. Raiderland hot links brought to you by Jackson Brothers Meat Locker in Post, Texas. Now, it's too late to get them to ship to you for the Super Bowl. But if you're in the West Texas South Plains area, you can head over to Post over the next 2 days. Get down there to the store and get some great meats and cheeses and the world famous jerky and bring it to your Super Bowl party. You will be a hero thanks to Jackson Brothers Meat Locker. Oh, by the way, they do all the meat processing you need as a hunter. They can do it. So here's to Jackson Brothers. Also brought to you today by McAlpin Chiropractic. If your back's out of whack, don't call a quack, call Kevin Mack. Not his slogan, could be. He's been entrusted with high-level Texas Tech athletes for decades. He's a great Red Raider in West Texas. Check out Kevin McAlpin. And Gators Bayou, 98th and Slide in Lubbock, Texas. Hot Cajun food, great daily lunch specials. You want to watch the game this weekend? They got it for you. You can watch all the Texas Tech sporting events there. Check out Cajun pasta, shrimp po' boy, and then kind of go off that. But if you've never been there, that's what I tell people, depending on what you like. It's Cajun food. It's good. All right, where are we going to start tonight? Texas Tech softball is underway. Game 1, bottom of the first. Nigel Kennedy pitching, and she has struck out the first batter she has faced. Texas Tech leads 5-0 after a 5-run first inning. You've seen the polls. You've heard the discussion. So I ask you tonight, is it fair to expect a team to win a national championship? Is that an unfair or fair expectation on Texas Tech softball? I would submit that I would say it's fair that Texas Tech, it's a fair expectation that Texas Tech should absolutely be in Oklahoma City. that they should make, for those, new to softball, like myself, I'm not claiming to be a softball savant by any stretch of the imagination. But I think it's fair to say, all right, this team should win the Big 12. This team should host a regional, super regional, and play to Oklahoma City, and that they should absolutely be playing for a national championship. Is it fair to expect them to win it? A lot of different things go into that. Health, I think, would probably be the first and foremost thing. Then you got to have a little luck here and there, right? No matter how good you are, you got to have a little luck. But it sure appears that the team that battled Texas to the final game, that they're better on paper than they were a year ago. But our national title expectations fair to any program, whether it was Alabama football over the years or, I don't know, Villanova basketball a few years ago, kind of fill in the blank. You get the idea what I'm talking about. Is that a fair expectation, or is that something you say you should compete for, but we don't know that you're going to get it? There's no guarantee. How would you guys frame it as Texas Tech fans regarding Tech softball? David Coker is right there on Facebook. Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. The talking box is on. Indeed, it is. So you guys jump in on the United Supermarkets chat line, the one supermarket that supports Texas Tech in West Texas, as opposed to another one out there that takes your money and sends it down south to Austin. We have that. Texas Tech football. All right. So CJ Ahu going to the Steelers by all reports. Good for him. Good. And Zarnell Fitch, apparently it looks like leaving to join Gary Patterson, USC. All right. Man, dude, you parlayed a great interior defensive line, and you get to go hang out with your old TCU guy. None of these things should be seen as problematic by Texas Tech fans. We'll explain why as we go through tonight. And then Kelvin Sampson at Houston saying we're poor. No, we're poor. Got a poor school here. I'll ask the question right now. How the hell can the University of Houston be poor? Massive alumni base. Major U.S. city. Oil and gas rich. I mean, that's what they do down there. I assume they've had some people graduate from the University of Houston that have jobs. Why are they poor? Why is Kelvin Sampson saying we're poor? Is he building in excuses for not achieving at the highest of levels, even though they've had great success under there? But, when we're talking about NIL and everything else, why is the University of Houston poor? What's his end game on that? I think he's crazy like a fox. Jeff gets in on our YouTube channel where we're just a handful of people away from 700 subscribers. We want 1,000. And here's the deal. I'll be honest. When you go over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, they amplify the algorithm. It explodes. And we do great things for our sponsors like Getters Bayou, McAlpin Chiropractic, United Supermarkets, Hat Creek Interiors. We want to do that for them. We need your help to do it. Expect them to get to the National Championship Series is fair. By that you mean like the final 2 out of 3 or just Oklahoma City. Winning it all then rest on the intangibles. I love intangibles. I wonder if there's ever been a band named the Intangibles. Surely there's a band called the Intangibles, right? What would the Intangibles be? What kind of music would the Intangibles play? Grunge? Maybe. JCTT, it is fair they should compete for it in the final series, and an expectation should be something, the ultimate goal. It got junked up there on that. University of Houston's Ward, not rich. Well, yeah, where the school is located, it's a dump. Good Lord. Leaving Hoffein's Pavilion a couple of times over the years doing Tech basketball, you're just like, I don't care how hungry we are, we're not stopping anywhere before we get close back to the hotel. Yeah, Kelvin Sampson today, by the way, checking back in on softball, top of the second, 5-0. Looks like no hits, no errors, and one left on. So I think there was a walk in the inning there by Nigel Kennedy. Yeah, Kelvin Sampson, reported by ESPN today, said his top 10 team can't sign more recruits because the school's athletic department is, quote, very poor. After the 8th-ranked Cougars' 79-55 victory Wednesday over UCF, Sampson said his team's greatest hurdle in recruiting is a lack of funding. Quoting Sampson, we have a very poor athletic department. He said not poor. We have a very poor athletic department. We're poor. We were poor when I got here, and we're still poor. We probably have the lowest budget of anyone in the Power Four, he said. The way our recruiting is going, we have to stop at some point because we don't have the money to keep bringing in many good players, and that's not easy for us to do. According to the USA Today database, Houston was ranked 56 in Division I athletics with a revenue of $78 million, or nearly one-third of Texas athletics budget in 2024. Talking about UT. Okay, so let's not conflate that. You've got $78 million to work with. But that doesn't have anything to do with NIL necessarily, right? Because we know that of that revenue, it's only $22.5 million that you can spend paying. So it's outside NIL he's talking about. Houston officials did not immediately respond to ESPN's request for comment, but in a letter to the fan base in July, athletic director Eddie Nunez issued a call to action to raise additional revenue for NIL opportunities. Now, obviously, Sampson's teams have been really good with or without it. But I asked the question again. Now, he's trying to shame Houston people. He knows what he's doing. He's doing what Saban did about 3 or 4 years ago when NIL was first getting started. And Saban did almost the exact same thing, trying to shame Alabama people into giving him more NIL money. Houston. Sampson's trying to shame Houston people into donating more. But it begs the question again, why is Houston poor? Why doesn't the city of Houston care about the University of Houston? I'll tell you why. The same reason the city of Dallas doesn't give two shits about SMU. It's not a college town. They don't care. Houston is by and large a commuter school with a massive enrollment, but nobody is really invested in being a University of Houston Cougar graduate. It doesn't translate. But once again, I'll ask the question, why are they poor? If you're such a great tier 1 university, if you've got all this stuff going, where are your graduates? Where are your Wombles? Right? Where are your Campbells? Where are your Fullers? Where are your, we got so many, we can go down the list. What are your Whitakers? Where are your, over the years, Texas Tech people? Where is that for Houston? I think it's because nobody gives a damn about the University of Houston. Which we can get back to the discussion if we want to about why did we ever let them back in the Big 12. David, how about the intangibles? I see what you did there. Chris, watching this McNeese State game makes you appreciate the production quality that Texas Tech has for their games on ESPN Plus. Yeah, I'm keeping up on Score Tracker, so I'm not watching it. A lot of these places, they just don't have the ability. They don't have the production facilities. They don't have any way to do what Texas Tech can do on a regular basis in producing the video. So yeah, you ought to be happy. You ought to be pleased. And I think tomorrow's game, one of them not going to be on. Don't know. Jeff, the intangibles would have to be a surf band. We're talking like West Coast sound, hard guitar, that type deal. I don't know. JC Double T, you can count on one hand relevant fan bases in cities of a particular size. And I agree with you. I think the bigger the city, it becomes a pro town. It becomes a pro city, no matter how good the school is. How many great programs, college, from major cities? We can probably start with USC and stop with USC, right? Chicago, Northwestern, no. You can't give me Notre Dame. Can't do that. Michigan, nope. Michigan's not in Detroit. Ann Arbor, down in Detroit, East Lansing, New York City, not a single program in New York City that matters. Rutgers, even outside of New York City, the State University of New Jersey, doesn't matter. Give me Georgia Tech and Atlanta, big city, doesn't matter. Miami, is Miami the closest after that? Jeff jumps in right there on YouTube, Miami. And that's a small private school in a massive media market. That's the closest thing I would say, Miami and USC. SMU, no. TCU, no. Kansas City, no. Colorado, no. And Boulder's not even in Denver, but no, Colorado. Doesn't matter. University of Washington, Seattle, I can't even go there, really. I can't give you Washington that would be great across the board as a college athletics program. Good at times in football, never other than Detlef Shrimp in the 1980s in basketball, irrelevant in almost every other sport. So we look at Houston and Kelvin Sampson saying, we're poor, very poor. I was thinking of, Lonesome Dove. They poor, Captain. They real poor. Dietz talking about the Indians there on the plains. They poor, Captain. They real poor. But how can you be a university the size of Houston and not have graduates like Texas Tech or Indiana? How can you be that? Well, because they just don't care. All right, where are we now? Softball game one, top of the second, 5-0. Texas Tech leading McNeese State, or McNee on the abbreviation. Is it fair to expect a national championship for Texas Tech softball? Yes or no? What's a fair expectation for this team as we get underway this year? Texas Tech softball picked to win the Big 12 by a mile. Preseason number one national polls, tied for number one. Number two, Texas right in there. Is it ever fair to say that a team should win a national championship? How do you do that? And particularly for a program like Texas Tech that is on the rise, that burst onto the scene a year ago, that is not a traditional power in softball, whatever that means anymore in the world we live in today in college athletics, that what was true 5 years ago has zero meaning, zero impact on anything that exists today. Nothing that mattered 5 years ago. Quality of programs, history, anything, none of it matters today. Hard for fans to understand, hard for some programs and some coaches even to understand, but you must understand it. Nothing matters except for right now. So what's fair? How does that work out? You tell me. And then I'm going to build the perfect halftime show for the Super Bowl. I want you guys to do that with us before we get out of here tonight. What would be your perfect Super Bowl halftime show lineup? If you have not shared the broadcast tonight, good time to do it. If you have not done the power of 5, great time to do it. If 5 people each night will go on social media to our sponsors like Gators Bayou, McAlpin Chiropractic, United Supermarkets, Hat Creek Interior Studios. Just go on their Facebook page or something, say, hey, thanks for supporting Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. That'd be awesome. Tag me in it, let me know, and I'll do great things for you people. I can't tell you what, I'll do great things for you people. I will actually, if you do it, bestow you with this. I'm not going to tip you, but on your deathbed, you'll have total consciousness. So you got that going for you. Joe Dumars University. Joe Dumars, proud Detroit Piston. Houston fans didn't care as students, damn sure don't as an alumni base. And they'll bristle at that, and they'll recoil at it. and they hate the term Cougar High, and they hate the term Suitcase College. But you know what? Kelvin Sampson just called you that. He just told you that's who you are, Houston. Robert, Maryland has a large donor base and fan base in Chicago. MD? I think you meant Notre Dame. Well, Notre Dame's not in Chicago. All right. Jeff, executive vice president of UPS, is a Cougar alum. Former president of Shell, Jim Nance, the Quaid brothers. The Quaid brothers. Well, God, you get that lineup together, Jeff. How can it be stopped? David, I think it's only fair to say that expectations are high for a national championship. I think it's fair to say they're high. I'm saying, is it fair to expect that? To expect it that, you know, if you don't win it, you suck. You had a bad year. That we expect a national title. Bring back the national title, or his head on a platter. Makes me know, never mind. So it's a fair expectation. All right, let's go to the Super Bowl halftime show. Here's what I would do next year's Super Bowl. All right. I get about 18 to 20 minutes to work with. We're going to strip it down. We're going to get the full 20 minutes because I'm not going to have this crazy stage. I'm not going to have anything wild going on. We don't have a huge production going on. It's going to be pretty simple. You know? There's this stage. And then out walks Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld does 10 minutes of solid new material. Funny. Great stuff. Boom, ba-dum, boom, boom. It's Seinfeld for 10 minutes. Never before seen Seinfeld. So we got 10 minutes of that. I got another 10 minutes. I can do a band. I can do a band or a singer. I bring out Kiss. All living members of Kiss, all 85-year-old Kiss members, 70-year-old Kiss members. I don't care who's living dead. I know we've lost a couple. Doesn't matter. Hell, I'd bring out a Kiss tribute band. It don't matter. And we rock out for another 10 minutes. We could get through, a little Detroit Rock City, shout it out loud. What else? Well, what else could we do? Christine 16 is too slow. All right, so we got to do shout it out loud, Detroit Rock City. We go there. Yeah, I like what Jeff is doing here. Kiss holograms. With Seinfeld still on stage. Is it a goof? Not really, because the whole thing's a goof. But seriously, would you not sit there and watch Seinfeld do 10 minutes of comedy right now? Yeah, you would. Absolutely you would. America would. Oh, but I'm sorry, we're trying to appeal to the international audience. So we have to have Bad Bunny because we're going to grow the NFL game into Latin America, and we're going to have teams in, wherever, Guadalajara. They overthink it, man. Hell, bring back Up With People. Give me a good Up With People deal. Brady Bunch reunion. Brady Bunch variety hour. I'm serious about the Seinfeld deal. I think it would be huge. I think it would be one of the most watched halftime shows in the last 10, 15 years. If you had Seinfeld doing 10 minutes of comedy. Fun. Enjoyable. And then we rock out. We do something like that. A few more minutes left with you tonight. Is it fair to expect Texas Tech softball to win a national championship this year? What's the fair expectation? By the way, 8-0 now. Bottom of the second. Let's see. How do we get the scoring? I need scoring. Give me some scoring here. All right. So top of the second. Tony Infield single. Scores Williams. And then Lauren Allred, single to center field, scores a couple. And there you go. You're up 8-0, bottom of the second. God help us. Please let us have a run rule in this thing, and we can get on with tomorrow. So define what is fair, expectation-wise, for this team. By the way, tomorrow we're going to do some stuff with Texas Tech baseball. Don't worry, I hadn't forgot about the Red Raiders. And if you want Tech football, Zernell Fitch going, looks like with Gary Patterson out west. And then CJ Ahu, I think who's a bigger loss, but going to the Steelers. Here's the deal. You want coaches that other people want. I don't want a staff of coaches who don't want to move on, don't want to move forward. I want to build a program where guys are hungry. I've got good young guys around me, and then I replace them. And I bring in guys that are really hungry, and they bought into the system that we have. That I, as a head coach, we have created this, and I have coordinators that are, structuring it vertically through my coaching staff, transmitting it. And I got guys desperate to coach in my program. And they do it my way. They do it our way. They do it the Red Raider way, and they have success. They come into a program that is winning games. And then they parlay that, and hopefully they continue helping us win. And then they move on, and we get other guys that look like, you know what I just described? Alabama football under Nick Saban for the last 20 years. Thank you very much. Brian, you want the most eyeballs on the halftime show. Money Whip Journey and Steve Perry to do 10 minutes after Seinfeld. I'm in. What if we had Journey and Hall & Oates got back together? Yeah, see? Journey and Hall & Oates right there on the same stage. Yeah, Journey probably be better. JCWT, personally, I'll be on this great channel watching Turning Point USA halftime show. Did I see Kid Rock? I think I saw Kid Rock on there. That'll work for me. Gary, fair expectation, Oklahoma City at the College World Series. Talking about softball tech, I think that is exactly where it should be. Fair expectation. Big 12 title, that's a fair expectation. Don't worry, I don't care about the conference tournament, but go ahead and win that thing too. And then go play in Oklahoma City because you ought to be hosting this year. You ought to be playing all of your postseason games in Lubbock, the road to Lubbock to Oklahoma City. I think that's fair. I think national championship or bust. And you see some people, and I think they're just bomb throwers, they're grenade launchers, saying, well, if they don't win the national championship, it's all been for nothing. That's dumb. I mean, truly it is. I mean, you can have a great team and not win the national championship. Seen it before. And when it takes away your ability to enjoy a great team or a great season, that sucks for you as a fan. I hate it for you. So I would not caution, not lecture, but I'd straight up tell your ass, if you're a Texas Tech fan, just enjoy this team this year and see where it goes. And that it's fair to say, hey, it ought to end up in Oklahoma City. And if it doesn't, maybe there are reasons. Not Seinfeld, but Nate Gatz, then bring on Strait and Chris Stapleton. And getting kind of a Texas thing going on there. They see that would be the like the Big 12 title game ought to do that, That's what they ought to do there. You not have Seinfeld. People don't like Seinfeld. No soup for you. What's the score now? Still 8-0, bottom of the second. Nigeria Kennedy, let's go to visitor stats, pitching. And Kennedy so far tonight, 1 1/3 innings worth of work, 0 runs, 0 hits, and 2 walks tonight with 2 strikeouts. She is total pitches 32 so far. 32 pitches, 20 for strikes. 7 batters faced. It's early in the year. God, it's got to stink when you're such a dominant pitcher like Kennedy. You're like, oh my God, there's a base runner. What's wrong? Tomorrow we're going to do some stuff on Tech baseball. We'll have more Super Bowl hype tomorrow. Friday, most Texan thing you've done. If you hadn't done anything real Texan, you need to do it. I'm going to ask you before we get out of here one more time to really do us a favor here in Raiderland, and it don't cost you nothing. It's the power of five, like I said. It's go share this and spread it to your friends. Subscribe to all of our platforms: YouTube, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. Want over 700. We really want 1,000 is the magic number. I don't know. That's like a jump, but I know you guys can get there. But just do that, and then thank our great sponsors. Go to their social media feeds for Gators Bayou, McAlpin Chiropractic, United Supermarkets, Hat Creek Interiors. Tag me on that thing and just tell them thanks for being a part of it. That's huge. And I will say this again, not just my show, but any media that you enjoy that is supported that way, please go online and thank them and support those businesses. That's the business model now. That's how all this comes together. I know that you guys maybe can't run out right now and get your back adjusted. I get it. I understand that. But you can tell McAlpin Chiropractic, hey, thanks, man. We appreciate it. It goes a long, long way. We'll be with you in the morning on the website, theraiderland.com. So check us out there. Raiderland Hot Links brought to you by Jackson Brothers Meat. Locker in Post, Texas. I need to run down there tomorrow and get some jerky. We need jerky. And then we're with you on Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media. Obviously on Facebook, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. We'll have your daily dose of West Texas coming up tonight. Hope you'll like that this evening. You guys are the best. You truly are. We appreciate it. I mean that. I'm not just kidding. You guys are the best audience out there. You have been for 30 plus years of me doing this in media and everything around here. And I just can't tell you thanks enough for being out there. All right. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tonight. The Raiderland.